Dr. Dan here. Welcome to this very special video where I want to talk about my why and what got me here. First off, I'm a perfectionist, so I've tried this now 3 times on my phone. Play with me here. You may be able to relate to me, is that I need things perfect. I'm very analytical in one sense. I'm very calculated in another sense. So for me, I'm a 5th of 8 kids. So I've got 4 brothers, I've got 3 sisters. There's 8 of us kids. My mom and dad, no step kids. Mom and dad been married for 55 years as of next year. And so I grew up, great family, but I was the middle child. And so it may come as a shock to you is I'm a huge introvert. And the irony that I teach communication and get passionate about helping others have influence, it comes back to my upbringing. And so for me, and I just want to kind of go right to the punch, like for me, I've always had this worthiness, looking to my older siblings that I wanted to be just like them. And so I always kind of yearned for this validation that what I was doing was right. And so then I got injured. I was 16 years old, huge sports family. I got injured pole vaulting in a track and field event. And it forced me to go to all these. So I went to my mom's a nurse. She was a nurse for, 37 years. And so growing up, we were kind of the conventional medical model so I went to doctor, the trainer, and then a physical therapist, then a medical doctor, orthopedist, then it was a neurologist. It was kind of this typical model where you go and get drugs, and that didn't work. And then I just was getting so frustrated, but also worried that I wasn't going to be able to play sports again. And baseball season was around the corner, my favorite season. We ended up, of all places, our family dentist said, you should try a chiropractor. And I went to this chiropractor and it literally changed my life. Not only did it get me better, I remember one day he went in there and he just said, hey, Dr. Sullivan, out of the blue, I was 16 years old. He said, you should be a chiropractor. It popped into my mind. And when I get something in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna go for it. Fast forward, I end up becoming a chiropractor, thinking that chiropractic was about bad backs and being able to help athletes with neck pain. But I went to chiropractic school and I learned what nobody else knew, or what I believe nobody else knew. And it just got me passionate about being different and being okay with the non-status quo. And I had my oldest brother, or my second oldest brother, Tom, was one that kind of turned me on to being okay with being different. Be bold about your stance. If it's right, if you thought through it, be bold about it. I didn't know how to communicate it. So then I sought coaching and all this to say, and why it brings me full circle is because I came out of chiropractic college. I opened my first business just full of just passion, piss and vinegar, as they say. I just wanted to tell the world. And I did that. And I got some good mentorship and training, but I did it the way everybody else told me to do it. And I just emulated others versus my own voice. And it led pretty quickly. I had some success. But it led to some exhaustion because as an introvert, I was taught extroverted strategies. And I would argue today, a world and a marketplace that caters to extroverts, you have to know what you're doing if you're an introvert like me. Otherwise, you're going to lead to burnout and maybe even question, are you cut out for this? And that was my journey. Like for a while there, I was like, am I cut out to do this? I found myself 2 years into business thinking, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I could do it, but I still had this deep yearning and passion to help the deceived, people that I believe were deceived, like thinking just drugs and surgery were the only answer. They didn't know all the benefits. They didn't know what they didn't know. Out of desperation, one day I go into the story where I just was so sick of it. And I had an experience with my dad who was going through some things at the time, was hospitalized and had some issues going on. And I just remember being in business one day and I'm like, the heck with it. I'm just going to tell the truth as I know it. And something fascinating happened. People were so drawn to it. And for the first time, I was like, wow, I can just be myself. I have a voice. It's a worthy voice. It's a voice that didn't just come from, thinking of an idea on a Tuesday night and telling people about it. It was very drawn out, thoughtful. And as an introvert, I sit with my thoughts. I sit with, if I'm going to be bold about something, I'm going to know a lot about it. I'm going to ask the toughest questions to who first? Me. And so that allowed me to catapult not only the next steps of success and stages of success, but do it in a way that was very effortless. And from there, I was a team physician for USA Olympic team, wrestling team. So in 2010, I was in Moscow, then I was in Istanbul, and then I was in London in the Olympics, taking care of the Olympic team. Then I'd sold my first business. I kind of moved on from there, became a university professor, launched things online. I was part of franchise organizations. I built, businesses and sold them. And then in about 2018, the reason why I bring this full circle is I just was coaching. And I realized there were certain aspects of coaching that I didn't feel like anybody else was talking about, like this unseen, unknown conviction and communication piece that was being left out. And so it was always, hey, be like somebody else, emulate them, versus be yourself. Have a voice. Know that your voice is actually the thing that people are going to most resonate with. And so I studied the neuroscience of this because I'm analytical and very introverted and kind of have to understand why things work. And I was fascinated, completely blown away that most people don't know this. And when I say don't know this, they neglect to be taught that the decision-making part of the brain, of the people they're trying to reach, the prospects, the cold traffic, the leads, the potentials, the decision-making part of the brain is not rational, logical, and doesn't make decisions based on information. And this actually culminated into an aha moment, because I look back and I realized that's why I got results when I couldn't always describe them, and honestly, I couldn't always coach them. And so bam, it made me realize, wow, if you've got a message, first off, you got to know your deep conviction about something is the most important piece. Second thing is your unique story behind not only why you do what you do, but why they need it is the second most important piece. And when you blend them, you could get everything else wrong. You could get all the tactics, all the strategies, all the scripts, all that other stuff wrong, and you could still hit home runs and make sure your message gets to the masses. And so that what leads me here right now today. People say, well, now you're writing these books and you've kind of left this industry and you're going to this profession, you're going to different, and it's like, no, I'm not leaving anything. Here's who I am, is I know that this message is so powerful and profound and most people don't know it. And I look back, that's kind of been my MO throughout my life, especially my professional life, is something that somebody doesn't know can hurt them. And it's not that it hurts them, it will hurt their progress, their productivity, and their influence. And I want to help them take their message to the masses, especially those who are purpose-driven entrepreneurs that have a message they know can change a lot of lives, and ultimately together we can change the world and their product, services, and offers. Early on, believe that if I just had enough time with somebody, I can give them enough rational information and logic and research and science that they're going to make a decision. That can be further from the truth. It comes down to being able to be conviction and be able to connect. How do you connect with people? A story is the single greatest way that you can connect. And so that's my story. It's a little bit about my why, now knowing and diving in, even like Simon Sinek stuff where he talks about start with why. And the greatest companies in the world to date, the reason why they're so effective at what they do is because they start with why. It's not about what or the how. First, it's the why. And I'm just going to implore you, as somebody who has a message, you want to take them to the masses, you've got to start with my why is I just can't stand people that are deceived, meaning kind of blatantly told a different part of the truth. Not mission is by omission, right? It's like, do this because I did it and I had success with it, but it's like, that's not the reason why you had your success. And so you can't just paint a broad stroke there. You have to understand you may be deceiving people if you're coaching them and telling them to do it this way, when that way doesn't abide by how the body works, honoring the body, honoring the brain, honoring how we make decisions. And so I don't like when people are deceived. And then I love to bring things that are non-status quo, but backed with serious results. And that's where I'm at right now, like teaching the power of story, teaching entrepreneurs, pastors, providers, doctors, you name it, how to get their message. See, the difference between them having a good to great model, a good to great business, is communication. That has stood the test of time. Abraham Lincoln to the forefathers to Jesus himself, right? Stories and questions. That's what he did. He told parables and he asked questions. And so if you're finding this, and again, if you've gotten this far, I'm telling you right now, your message matters, your voice matters, your unique voice matters, and I'm going to keep banging that drum to kingdom come because it matters. We uniquely have a calling on our lives. You have a calling on your life. And God has created you as a creator, meaning he created you in his image, and in his images, he created the heavens and the earth, and he created you. So inherently, as an introvert, when I recognized, wow, my creativity is actually my innovation. And part of that is actually my communication. And I have a unique ability to communicate. Maybe it's not like somebody else because I'm not an extrovert, but the way I've thought about it, if I can have a strategy that I can communicate like that, and with those strengths, then wow, this gets so much more effortless. I don't have to push this boulder uphill and question whether I'm even called to do this. And so that's what fires me up right now. My why is because there's other people just like me that they're exhausted on the realm of burnout, even questioning if they're called for this or cut out for this. And I'm going to tell you, you are. If that's you, you are. It's just that it may not be in the direction you are. So that's a little bit about me. I'm so blessed and had an amazing opportunity. I've got 3 beautiful children. Me and my wife live in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's been a blessing, and I'm excited for the continued growth in next chapter as books. My book just launched, and many another book in the works, and YouTube channels and things coming out. And so I want to help you get your message to the masses. So a little bit about me. There it is. Dr. Dan.